And tonight, a tragic story about an 8-year-old boy with cerebral palsy, malnourished and dying as a result. Tonight, no one has been held accountable.
Something that should never happen in America, but it did, and it happened right here in Mobile. NBC 15's Rachael Wilkerson has been investigating this story for months. Rachel?
Andrea and Greg, there isn't even an obituary for him. Hardly any pictures of him. It seems to be the story of Lebrawn's entire life.
This sole picture is all we have been able to obtain of 8-year-old Lebrawn Rankin. You can see his smile, a glimpse of happiness in his eyes. A sweet little boy who relied on others to care for him.
Lebrawn had special needs. He had cerebral palsy. He was bound by a wheelchair, 8 years old.
Tommy James is the attorney for Lebrawn's estate. He says Lebrawn couldn't feed himself, struggled to communicate, and relied on his siblings and mother to feed him with formula multiple times a day.
We're talking about our most vulnerable with the problems that Lebrawn had.
Lebrawn was adored by those closest to him at his school for special needs children, Augusta Evans in Mobile County. But shortly after the 2017-2018 school year began, school employees who do not want to be identified grew concerned about his safety, fearing the worst. Multiple staff members alerted the Alabama Department of Human Resources that Lebrawn wasn't this happy child anymore. His bright smile was replaced by tears. Employees say Lebrawn frequently appeared to be hungry, especially after weekends at home.
We want to see what the records we have already reveal, and that's that Lebrawn was being seriously, horrendously neglected at home with his mother, and reports were made of it.
So much so that school employees told police they feared he would die every time the school would have a break because he wasn't getting the proper care at home. And that's exactly what happened during spring break. On April 6, 2018, Lebrawn's 12-year-old brother found him lying on a mattress in just his diaper and t-shirt, not breathing, according to the police report. Investigators describe Lebrawn as malnourished with visible sores on his body and face. Disturbingly, the autopsy report shows he died from cerebral palsy with malnutrition and dehydration. Lebrawn weighed just 23 pounds.
An 8-year-old is 23 pounds.
The medical examiner classified Lebrawn's manner of death as undetermined, but noted neglect may have played a role. James says Lebrawn's death could have been prevented, and those who were supposed to protect him at home and on the state level failed and are still failing him. No one has been held accountable.
It's appalling. It just should have never happened.
Several signs of neglect were reported from Lebrawn's school. We'll break down those warning signs Monday at 5. Greg and Andrea.
Imagine 8 years old and just 23 pounds. Before Lebrawn died, some of his teachers brought their concerns to the state. Those concerns are documented.
Tonight, NBC 15's Rachael Wilkerson has uncovered warning signs. School employees noticed that he was on the verge of dying. Rachel?
Andrea and Greg, school employees told police they thought Lebrawn would die if DHR didn't intervene. Sadly, that's exactly what happened.
Augusta Evans School is the only special needs school in the Mobile County Public School System. It's the school 8-year-old Lebrawn Rankin attended. Lebrawn needed a lot of care and help. His family tells NBC 15 News he suffered from cerebral palsy and frequent seizures. He was confined to a wheelchair, couldn't feed himself, and struggled to communicate. When he died April 6, 2018, the medical examiner says Lebrawn weighed just 23 pounds.
I can't imagine the pain in an 8-year-old child weighing 23 pounds.
Tommy James represents Lebrawn's estate. He and others feel Lebrawn's death should have been prevented. NBC 15 News obtained police documents showing months before his death there were warning signs. The documents reveal a school employee told police they noticed in August 2017 Lebrawn had an odor when he got to school, and they would bathe him 3 days a week. In September, the police report says, quote, he had ringworm all over his body. According to the documents, it was after Thanksgiving break that several school workers told police they noticed Lebrawn began losing weight and was crying when he came to school, appearing to be hungry from, quote, not eating enough over the weekend when he was at home. Another red flag, dirty diapers. In December, the report says an employee started marking his diaper with the L for Lebrawn to see if it was being changed frequently.
And then they'd get him back at school on a Monday and he still had that same diaper on.
That employee told police Lebrawn returned to school with the same diaper at least 3 times a week and over the weekend, and that this went on for 6 months. The report says when school workers confronted Lebrawn's mother, Rachael Rankin, she allegedly said he was soiling them on the bus. After Christmas break, a third teacher notices Lebrawn losing weight and is fussy. In February, that teacher notices sores on Lebrawn's body and sends a form home for Lebrawn's mother to sign. School employees told police they filed a DHR complaint February 5th due to significant weight loss. This police document quotes a school employee saying DHR was not taking Lebrawn's case seriously because Lebrawn kept coming to school in the same physical state than when it was reported. A second DHR complaint was filed more than 2 weeks later, February 21st. James says teachers were crying out for help.
The reports are horrific, the ones I know of. I mean, severe dehydration, severe malnutrition, sores all over his body, using the same diaper.
The police report indicates school employees said a DHR worker came to school but did not interview those who reported Lebrawn's condition. In March, Lebrawn gets worse. Teachers notice rashes, body sores, and Lebrawn acting lethargic. In the last week of March, just before spring break, employees tell police they feared Lebrawn was going to die. April 6th, on the last day of spring break 2018, their fear became a reality. Lebrawn was found lying on his mattress in his diaper and t-shirt, not breathing. EMTs who picked him up noted patient presents extremely emaciated with all bony points clearly visible. And that patient is extremely petite for his age. A helpless child, dead. Now attorney Tommy James is fighting for Lebrawn, suing the boy's mother and DHR.
It's sickening. He died needlessly because DHR didn't do their job.
We know DHR came to the school at one point and visited Lebrawn's home. Tomorrow we'll tell you how long it actually took before they showed up.
An NBC 15 reality check, the death of Lebrawn Rankin. The 8-year-old boy died in April 2018 due to cerebral palsy, malnutrition, and dehydration, according to the medical examiner. We've already uncovered warnings from his teachers about Lebrawn's failing health and have shown you the state investigated the complaints but did not find evidence of neglect. Tonight, NBC 15's Rachael Wilkerson investigates what happened the day Lebrawn died.
Kim, Lebrawn's family told police they interacted with him the morning of his death. Our review of police files indicate that timeline doesn't add up.
April 6, 2018, 12:48 p.m. Dispatchers receive a 911 call from this apartment at the Sandpiper Townhomes on Knollwood. The caller says 8-year-old Lebrawn Rankin is lying on his mattress, not breathing and unresponsive. A second 911 call comes in at 12:52. 7 minutes after the first call, Mobile Fire and Rescue and MPD arrive on scene, finding Lebrawn's sister attempting CPR.
That was unsuccessful. At some point, paramedics arrived on the scene and were able to make a determination that, that they needed to stop doing the CPR. The scene was secured, and of course, that was a residence with other children present.
5 children home alone during spring break, according to police. The oldest, age 17. Lebrawn, who suffered from cerebral palsy, couldn't walk or easily communicate, according to his family. He relied on others to feed him through a tube. Police questioned 3 of Lebrawn's siblings who were home with him, as well as Lebrawn's mother and his mother's live-in boyfriend when they arrived from work. Lebrawn's 17-year-old sister told police she fed him around 9 that morning, but Lebrawn, quote, didn't move. His 12-year-old brother told officers he woke up around 10 to feed Lebrawn. Lebrawn's mother, Rachael Rankin, told Mobile police she checked on Lebrawn around 10 that morning and fed him around 11 before going to work around noon. When paramedics arrived at 12:55, they estimated Lebrawn died at least 4 hours earlier. That would be sometime before 9 a.m. One of the detectives reported Lebrawn's body seemed to be in the late stages of rigor mortis, a stiffening of the body after the death. Mobile Police Chief Lawrence Batiste says officers noticed possible signs of neglect when they began their investigation.
They saw a very frail, what looks to be somewhat emaciated young man, and so just based off those things there, they just felt like that they needed to make sure they secured and treated it as if though it was a homicide scene.
Investigators describe a stomach-turning scene. Riding Lebrawn's bedroom smelled strongly of urine. There were formula containers and feeding tube syringes all over the floor of the bedroom, according to investigators. The police report says the floor was covered with apparently unwashed clothes and food boxes. On Lebrawn's bed, police found a soiled diaper.
There appeared to be some level of neglect inside the home.
Officers found cases of unopened formula for Lebrawn inside the apartment. The 8-year-old boy, who had no way to reach that food, weighed just 23 pounds when he died.
The hospital alerted the district attorney's office about Lebrawn's condition. Tomorrow at 5, I'll let you know what DA Ashley Rich has to say as we continue our investigation into the death of Lebrawn Rankin. Kim?
Years old. Tonight, NBC 15's Rachael Wilkerson continues her investigation, asking what the justice system is doing with Lebrawn's case. Rachel?
Kim, the district attorney's office says the medical nature of the case has made it difficult, but they're dedicated to bringing Lebrawn justice.
This case is very disturbing.
The condition of 8-year-old Lebrawn Rankin disturbs Mobile County District Attorney Ashley Rich. The veteran prosecutor has tackled some tough cases, but Lebrawn is one that sticks with her.
When you're dealing with a child that suffered in the level of suffering that this child suffered, it's very, very difficult.
When detectives discovered Lebrawn dead on a mattress with no sheets and box spring in April of 2018, they noted that Lebrawn's ribs were showing. Also writing, the juvenile had visible sores on his body and face. The EMTs who transported Lebrawn's body wrote he was extremely emaciated, with all bony points clearly visible. Rich says the hospital notified her office about Lebrawn's condition.
When you have trained medical professionals who become just completely shocked at something, a case that they see in the hospital, and then they turn it over to law enforcement, we take that very seriously.
An autopsy report showed Lebrawn weighed just 23 pounds when he died April 6, 2018. Lebrawn's hospital records from 2010 show he weighed 15 pounds when he was a 7-month-old baby. He only weighed 8 more pounds when he died. The medical examiner determined Lebrawn died from cerebral palsy with malnutrition and dehydration. His manner of death is not listed as natural or a homicide on the autopsy report. Instead, it is listed as undetermined with the possibility of neglect.
We owe it to the community and we owe it to this child to make sure that this case is thoroughly investigated and bring criminal charges if that's what's warranted.
Mobile police officers who investigated Lebrawn's death wrote he appeared very malnourished, that his diaper looked like it hadn't been changed in some time, and that the apartment was in very poor living condition.
Why weren't criminal charges filed in the case?
Sometimes there's immediate evidence that you can say without a doubt we need to be charging somebody. And in this particular case, again, as I shared earlier, I'm not a medical doctor.
You know, I have to be very guarded in what I say at this point, but I think the facts will come out.
Staff members at Lebrawn's public special education school, Augusta Evans, told police they complained to the Department of Human Resources several times about Lebrawn's condition. In early February 2018, one report was made about Lebrawn's skin breakdown that was present and the loss of weight. Another employee told police they made a report to DHR because they believed he was not getting the proper care at home. DHR investigators did go to Lebrawn's home 11 days before he died, but did not find evidence of neglect. To this day, Lebrawn's death is still under investigation.
Why is this so important to fight for this kid? For so long, so many people reached out for help and help never showed up.
You know, we're trying to make that help come now, and we are very fortunate here in Mobile to have so many educators who do care and who do take their responsibility to report any type of abuse or issues that they see. And in this case, that's exactly what these teachers did for him. It unfortunately just came too late.
Chief Batiste echoing that message, but hoping comfort can soon be provided to those mourning, those who tried to be a voice when Lebrawn was voiceless.
Sometimes we just get there too late. We find out what we need to find out too late. And so in this particular case, Lebrawn lost his life. And it would be my prayer that there would be closure for the people that engaged in trying to help in some kind of a way. And ultimately, Lebrawn's mother, if there is neglect on her part, she'll have to live with this for the rest of her life.
There is an active civil lawsuit filed by an attorney for Lebrawn's estate accusing his mother and DHR of negligence in Lebrawn's death. Lebrawn's mother told me over the phone she didn't do anything wrong and that she just wants her son to rest.
Rachel, those who were close to Lebrawn at his school tell you that they purchased his headstone.
And Kim, they cared so much about him that they wanted to provide that for him. We'll show you that Monday at 5.
Tucked away in Pritchard Memorial Cemetery, hidden in the tall grass, you'll find little 8-year-old Lebrawn Rankin's headstone. There is a blue and silver butterfly placed above it. It's personalized with angels holding crosses and special nicknames from Lebrawn's former staff members at Augusta Evans Public Special Education School.
It was important because when we found out that he did not have a headstone, we wanted to do that for him so that everybody would know that he was loved.
One of Lebrawn's former school educators who wanted their identity concealed says staff members raised money for his headstone. They say they couldn't find out his birth and death dates because there was no obituary online. So they had written sunrise May 2009 and sunset 2018. For them, the pain of losing Lebrawn will always be there, but there is comfort in knowing they did something special for him.
He was truly loved, and he deserved to be recognized in that way. And if someone wanted to go out to visit, they would be able to find him.
They say Lebrawn was loved so much at his school by staff members, they nicknamed him Squirt and Baby.
He was considered the baby of the school because he was a smaller child in a wheelchair, but he was older than you would expect. So it just kind of stuck. Everybody called him Baby, and he responded to that.
Baby.
This video was taken on Lebrawn's 8th birthday in May of 2017. You can see excitement in his smile. His laugh melted the hearts of those closest to him at school.
People came in to tell him happy birthday. They bought him little gifts, and it was just it was a great day for Lebrawn.
6 months later, Mobile police documents show all of this changed. Lebrawn's happy smile wasn't there anymore.
He went from what you saw on that picture to not being very happy at all. He would sometimes whine or cry getting off the bus, being lethargic.
Police records show teachers filed 2 complaints to the Department of Human Resources in February 2018 about Lebrawn's condition. The report states he was losing weight, had skin breakdown, and was concerned, quote, LeBron was going to die if DHR didn't intervene.
His body also was just deteriorating before our eyes. He was getting smaller and smaller and less happy.
But according to police documents, when DHR showed up to his apartment March 26, 2018, this report states the DHR rep found nothing indicated for neglect.
And he wasn't removed, which really didn't make any sense because at that point, he was really frail and sick. You could tell he was just really sick.
11 days later, on April 6, 2018, LeBron was found dead inside his own home. A tragic ending for those who tried to get him some help. This educator says despite LeBron's heartbreaking story, this is the LeBron they want the community to remember. An 8-year-old who loved music, basketball, and his teachers. A sweet little boy in his final resting place.
What happened to LeBron should never happen to any child.
An attorney for LeBron's estate has sued LeBron's mother and several DHR employees alleging their negligence caused LeBron's death. LeBron's mother told NBC 15 News she did nothing wrong and she just wants her son to rest. The DHR employees in court filings have either denied the allegations or argued they can't be sued while working for the state agency. The criminal investigation is ongoing. Kim? Kim and Greg, I have documents right here showing DHR told staff members that it would take over control of the investigation. Instead, LeBron's former caretaker says the department dropped the ball.
People definitely felt like DHR failed him.
This former staff member at Augusta Evans Special Education School wants to remain anonymous because of this investigation. Our source was heavily involved with little 8-year-old Lebrawn Rankin and has a lot to say about him. What started out as this happy boy who was always laughing quickly faded, and Lebrawn, the former staffer says, was slipping away.
It just got worse. Each week he was lethargic, he was losing weight rapidly. He had visible signs of neglect. It just wasn't good.
Concerned staff members our contact says had reached out to LeBron's mother with concerns in the past.
Nothing was really resolved, so it was time to report it to DHR.
And that's what LeBron's caretakers did. Staff members filed these 2 complaints with the Alabama Department of Human Resources. The first, on February 5th, 2018, states LeBron appeared to be losing weight and had reoccurring ringworm. The next day, February 6th, DHR sent this letter back to the school, acknowledging it would begin an assessment of LeBron, including an interview with him at the school as part of its, quote, thorough investigation to protect him. It's in this same letter school officials are told not to contact the parents of Lebrawn Rankin or any other person regarding this information. This former staff member tells us DHR failed LeBron and believes DHR should be held accountable.
We weren't hearing back from DHR or being interviewed. It was passed on to them, so it was their responsibility.
3 weeks later, staff members filed a second complaint stating LeBron was thinner since the last DHR complaint and noted very poor hygiene.
He had small roaches on his wheelchair and also crawling out of his clothes.
On March 26, 2018, records show a DHR caseworker went to LeBron's house and found nothing indicating neglect. LeBron died April 6th, weighing 23 pounds.
If there's a message you could send to DHR, what would that be?
Do the right thing. Whoever this person was that made that visit, you know as well as we did that this baby did not die from natural causes.
The medical examiner apparently is unsure too that LeBron died from natural causes. In the autopsy report, the examiner lists the manner of death as undetermined. The possibility of neglect is noted on the autopsy report. In August, we sat down with Mobile County District Attorney Ashley Rich. She told us Spring Hill Medical Center, after receiving LeBron's body, notified her office, shocked about LeBron's condition. She's fighting for LeBron in an active criminal investigation, But due to the coronavirus pandemic, she says the judicial system is significantly backlogged.
We are 6 months behind on presenting anything to grand jury just due to COVID. And then we were about 4 months behind just due to the backlog in the justice system. So now we're about 10 to 11 months behind.
2 years later, still no answers in Lebrawn Rankin's death.
A lawsuit has been filed against the directors of the Mobile County Department of Human Resources. The suit was filed by Birmingham attorney Tommy James. In a court filing today, Mobile County DHR's executive director denies allegations that Lebrawn died of negligence by the department. I called, emailed, and texted for response for this story. I was told the department cannot comment at this time. I filed an opens record request to review the department's policies on suspected child abuse and neglect. I also asked for a copy of its training policies. I'll let you know what I find out in a future report.